Welcome to the deep dive. There's a huge shift happening right now in the software development world. It's like a tectonic shift, really, and it's all powered by generative AI.
It really is.
And this isn't just about writing code faster, you know? It's fundamentally changing how we even think about building software.
Absolutely. The speed of this transformation is pretty staggering. We're seeing tools pop up that are reshaping workflows almost overnight. For a lot of developers, it's like getting a superpower they didn't know existed.
Exactly. And in this deep dive, we're going to pull back the curtain on two of probably the most influential AI coding tools right now. Anthropic's Claude Code and Anysphere's Cursor AI.
Two very interesting contenders.
Right. And our mission for you listening is really to cut through the hype. We've dug into a whole stack of reports, industry analyses, even candid developer chats on places like Reddit and Hacker News.
Yeah, lots of opinions out there.
Definitely. We're here to pull out the key nuggets, show you their different philosophies, their strengths, maybe some surprising real-world impacts, get to the core of what makes them tick and why they actually matter for your workflow. Okay, so we've mentioned this big shift, but the real story, I think, is how these two giants are approaching it so differently. They've got unique visions.
That's like a strategic battle, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. And what's fascinating, like you said, it's not just comparing features side by side. It feels more like choosing between two different ways of working, two paradigms for actually building software day to day.
That's the heart of it. It's a choice that shapes your whole coding experience.
So let's start with Claude Code. This comes from Anthropic, the folks behind those big language models like Claude Opus 4.1.
Right, the source.
And it feels like their big statement on how coding should be done. It's primarily a command line agent. You talk to it mostly through text commands.
Very different feel from a visual editor.
Totally. Its whole philosophy is about tackling those really deep, complex coding tasks autonomously. People say it embodies that Unix philosophy. Small, focused tools doing one thing well, easy to combine.
Compokable, scriptable tools.
Yeah.
It's positioned as a delegate. Think of it like having a really competent junior developer on your team.
Okay.
You give them a high-level task, maybe point them at an issue, and you trust them to run with it. The whole concept to commit, workflow planning, coding across files, testing, fixing, submitting the PR, minimal handholding.
So it's about offloading big chunks of work.
Exactly. Delegation.
Then you've got Cursor AI from Anysphere Inc. And they're coming at it from, almost the opposite direction.
Completely different angle.
Cursor is an AI-first code editor, deeply integrated. It's actually a fork of Visual Studio Code, VS Code, which, tons of developers already use.
Yeah, huge user base there.
Their focus is all about reducing friction in your workflow, making it smooth, flexible, all inside a familiar, polished GUI.
Right. Cursor acts more like an aggregator and orchestrator. It pulls in models from Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, you name it, all within that one interface.
So it gives you choice.
Choice, exactly. And it's designed more as a collaborator, think pair programmer. It gives you real-time suggestions, helps with edits, answers questions right there as you're typing. It's less delegation, more like active partnership.
Which sets up this interesting strategic split. Claude Code is like buying direct from the manufacturer, while Cursor is more of a reseller, right?
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about business models. It reflects their core bets.
How so?
Well, Claude's vertical integration, owning the model and the tool, means they have this really tight feedback loop. They can optimize the whole thing for raw power. And, crucially, they can offer those fixed max plans, potentially saving heavy users a lot on token costs. It's a direct pipe to the AI's capability.
Because they control the whole thing. Makes sense.
But Cursor, being that horizontal platform, brings value by integrating the best models available, giving you that choice, and frankly, a slicker UI for many tasks.
But there's a trade-off.
There can be. As the middleman, Cursor pays API costs for every token used from OpenAI or Anthropic. So they need to optimize token usage.
Ah, okay.
And some reports suggest this can sometimes affect output quality. Maybe responses get shortened or aren't quite as detailed as using the model directly because Cursor is trying to be efficient with those tokens.
Interesting. So these different philosophies naturally lead to different ways of working, right? Different workflows.
Absolutely. And they even demand slightly different skills from the developer.
Like what?
With Claude, the interaction is more managerial. You're planning, decomposing the task, specifying requirements, then reviewing the agent's work. It needs strong architectural thinking up front.
Higher level stuff.
Right. Whereas Cursor is very much pair programming. Constant back and forth, quick feedback loops, guiding it in context. It rewards rapid iteration, clear communication in the moment.
More interactive.
Much more. Though it's worth noting, we're already seeing some convergence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Claude's working on VS Code extensions to be more integrated, and Cursor is adding more agent-like features, things like agent to-dos and background agents. The lines are definitely starting to blur a bit.
Okay, that sets the stage nicely. So let's dive deeper into Claude Code. When developers talk about its raw power, what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, Claude Code really seems to shine when it comes to cognitive offloading, especially for more senior developers.
Freeing them up.
Exactly. Letting them focus on the bigger architectural questions, the strategy. It's like a force multiplier for complex tasks.
So one core strength we heard about is how it handles really large, complex code bases. Like, developers say it works where other tools just fall over.
Yeah, we saw that anecdote too.
Right. The one about the developer with that huge 18,000-line React component. Apparently, only Claude Code could successfully update it. That's impressive.
It gets praised for its agentic search, its ability to really understand the whole project structure, dependencies, everything. It doesn't just look at the current file.
And that deep understanding enables its other big strength, that high-quality agentic task execution you mentioned.
Right, acting like that fully agentic junior dev, you can literally feed it a GitHub issue.
Seriously.
Yeah, and it figures out a plan, writes code across multiple files, creates tests, runs them, fixes the errors it finds, and even drafts the pull request with a summary. It shifts your role from coder to, well, manager of the agent's work.
Wow, okay. And then there's the cost aspect for heavy users.
This is key. Those fixed-price max plans, $100, $200 a month, developers describe them as letting you use thousands and thousands of dollars worth of tokens liberally.
Like an unlimited data plan for code generation?
Pretty much. It makes that kind of continuous heavy-duty agent work actually affordable. That's a direct win from Anthropic owning the whole stack.
And it's customizable, too, being command line based.
Very much so.
Mm.
It leans into that Unix philosophy. It's scriptable. You could pipe things into it, integrate it into CI/CD pipelines. There are community cliode.md files for project context, custom slash commands, hooks, lots of ways to tailor it.
Okay.
And one really unique thing is its message queuing. You can give it multiple follow-up prompts in a row, and it just works through the queue.
So you can line up tasks?
Yeah, line up a bunch of work for it, maybe go grab coffee or focus on something else, and trust it to chug through the list.
But it's not all perfect, right? What are the downsides?
Well, that token usage means the entry-level $20 Pro plan can feel pretty limited. Users report hitting the caps quickly on bigger repositories or complex tasks, so it might be cost prohibitive unless you jump to those max tiers.
Right, it's an investment.
And the autonomy. It's powerful, but it can be a double-edged sword.
How so?
Sometimes it gets stuck. Developers mention it looping on failing approaches, just trying the same thing over and over. Or, in rare cases, even doing destructive things like deleting files if it gets really confused.
Ooh, so it still needs supervision.
Definitely needs human oversight to keep it on track. And finally, the user experience. That command line interface, while powerful for scripting, can be clunky for the interactive stuff.
Like reviewing changes.
Exactly. Reviewing diffs, giving quick feedback line by line. That's often easier in a graphical IDE. The CLI isn't ideal for that constant back and forth.
Okay, so Claude is the deep, autonomous agent. Let's switch gears to Cursor AI. It seems like they stormed the market by really nailing the user experience, right?
That's absolutely been their strategy, and it raises a really important question. For a lot of developers, is that smooth workflow and great UX actually more valuable day-to-day than just raw power?
And Cursor's success suggests.
The answer seems to be yes for a very large chunk of the market. Their growth has been phenomenal.
You mentioned it's a fork of VS Code. That familiarity must be a huge advantage.
Massive. It means adoption is almost frictionless. You open Cursor, click a button, and boom, all your VS Code extensions, themes, key bindings, they're all there. It's like upgrading your existing setup with AI, not learning a whole new tool.
That's clever.
And that deep integration enables what users rave about, the interactive workflow. If Claude is great for asynchronous, delegated work, Cursor absolutely shines in that inner loop, the moment-to-moment coding.
Like the tab to complete stuff?
People call it magic. Seriously. Coding at the speed of thought. And the inline chat hitting CMD plus K to refactor selected code or ask questions, plus the built-in diff view to see changes instantly. It gives you very fine-grained control right where you need it.
And that model flexibility you mentioned earlier sounds critical too.
It's a huge strategic advantage.
Yeah.
Being model agnostic means you can switch between Anthropic, OpenAI, Google models, maybe even others within the same chat.
So you use the best tool for the job.
Exactly. Maybe use Opus for a tricky algorithm, then switch to a faster OpenAI model for generating boilerplate, then maybe Google's Gemini for understanding a third-party API, all without leaving the editor. That's powerful.
Plus, it has the context of the whole project.
Yeah, it indexes your codebase so you can do smart queries, use @symbols to reference specific files, or even external docs it knows about. And because it is an IDE, it sees your linter errors, language server info, that leads to really relevant, accurate suggestions.
Okay, but what about the limitations? Where does Cursor stumble?
The main area seems to be on those really large, complex, multi-file tasks. Its agent mode, while improving, can reportedly get stuck more easily than Claude.
Yeah.
Users mentioned difficulty resolving patches across many files, or it just failing entirely on huge code modifications.
So it hits a complexity ceiling sooner.
It seems so compared to Claude's deep dives. And then there's that recurring point about output quality consistency.
The lazy code idea.
Yeah, some developers feel the code generated via Cursor sometimes isn't quite as robust or well thought out as using the models directly. The suspicion, again, is that token optimization for their business model might be playing a role. They have to balance cost and quality.
Right. And being a fast-moving product, I guess bugs are inevitable.
Users do report occasional glitches, sometimes minor UI stuff, other times more disruptive things like the built-in terminal hanging, which, can definitely break your flow.
Okay, so we've got Claude, the deep agent, and Cursor, the integrated copilot. How do they really stack up head-to-head? What does this mean for a developer trying to choose?
Well, it's clear they're succeeding in different areas. It's not really a case of one being universally better. They appeal to different workflows and different needs.
So workflow-wise, it's Claude for that hands-off managerial style plan, delegate, review.
Right. And Cursor for the hands-on collaborative approach, real-time, iterative, like pair programming.
And code quality.
Generally, Claude seems to get the nod for higher quality on complex multi-file changes. Cursor is seen as good, very effective for interactive edits, but maybe a bit lazy on those big, complex asks. Though the model flexibility helps mitigate that you can pick a powerful model if needed.
What about understanding the whole code base?
Claude gets praised for its remarkable ability with truly massive enterprise-scale projects. It seems to handle that vast context really well. Cursor is strong for most projects, great in interactive sessions, but users say it can sometimes freeze or struggle on the really enormous ones.
And the cost-benefit analysis.
Very different. Cursor has that simple, predictable 20-month pro plan. Affordable, easy to budget, but you have those usage limits and the potential quality trade-offs from optimization.
While Claude.
Claude's tiered, $20 to $100-month scales with how much you use it. The higher max tiers are seen as a significant bargain. If you're a power user doing lots of complex, long-running agent work, it makes that kind of heavy lifting economically viable. It's an investment.
Okay, let's talk traction. Cursor's growth sounds insane.
It's been absolutely explosive. Reports called it the fastest growing SaaS company ever. Hit $100 million annual recurring revenue in just 12 months.
Wow.
Estimated to hit $500 million ARR by May 2025. Over 1 million users total, 360,000 plus paying. Valuation jumped from $400 million to $2.6 billion in less than 6 months.
Unbelievable.
And that lead dev AI impact report finding Cursor overtaking GitHub Copilot in organizational adoption, 43%, 37%. That's a huge signal.
But Claude Code isn't exactly niche either, right?
Not at all. It's seen rapid uptake too, especially among developers tackling serious complexity. Reports mention 115,000 active developers, processing, get this, 195 million lines of code in a single week.
That's a staggering number.
Potential $130 million annualized revenue. Since the Claude 4 models launched, they saw 300% user growth, 5.5x revenue expansion. They're capturing a very engaged, technically deep user base. These are power users pushing the envelope.
And the ecosystems around them.
Also different flavors. Cursor obviously benefits massively from being built on VS Code. Thousands of existing extensions just work. They're also building their own Cursor directory for shareable rules and configurations.
While Claude's is more grassroots.
Yeah, centered around things like the awesome Claude Code GitHub repo, where the community shares /commands and claudede.md setup files. Anthropic is also building out its official Claude connectors directory, integrating with tools like Notion, Stripe, Figma, Linear. So it's expanding its reach too.
So the overall trend seems to be moving beyond just coding assistance.
Definitely. Both are maturing from point solutions into more integrated platforms. They're adding features across the whole software development, lifecycle planning, testing, deployment, enterprise features. They want to be embedded in the entire process.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. We hear this term vibe coding sometimes. What's the reality here for professional developers using these tools day in, day out? Is it just about wishful thinking prompts?
That's a great question, and it touches on a core debate. Is AI eliminating the developer role, or is it elevating it? The experience on the ground seems pretty clear.
So let's define vibe coding first. What is it, really?
It generally refers to someone, maybe with less deep technical knowledge, relying almost entirely on the AI. They give it high-level prompts like building an app that does X and pretty much accept whatever comes out with minimal review or understanding.
Like throwing paint at a canvas and hoping it looks good?
Kind of, yeah. Contrast that with the co-pilot or assistant model, which is what we see dominating professional use.
Which is?
That's where a skilled developer uses the AI to augment their own abilities. The AI helps with boilerplate, writing tests, refactoring blocks of code specific, contained tasks, but the human is firmly in control. Reviewing, understanding, testing, integrating the AI's suggestions, it's a tool, not a replacement.
And how do professional developers feel about pure vibe coding for real production software?
Overwhelmingly skeptical, bordering on dismissive. It's widely seen as a recipe for disaster, creating mountains of technical debt and making systems impossible to maintain long-term.
They've seen bad results.
Oh yeah, the criticisms are harsh. Bloated, low-performance, unmaintainable code. One dev described trying to refactor AI-generated code as creating a mess impossible to make changes to. Plus, concerns about just being detached from how the code actually works, security risks, license compliance issues. You can't just blindly trust it.
So the reality for pros is firmly in that augmented co-pilot model.
Exactly. AI is trusted for things like understanding unfamiliar code, generating standard boilerplate, writing unit tests, maybe suggesting refactors. It's least trusted for architecting complex systems across multiple files or fixing critical subtle bugs. The human expert have to handle the hard parts.
Which implies the developer's role itself is changing.
Fundamentally, it's shifting away from being just a code author towards being a code architect and reviewer.
So more high-level thinking.
Definitely. It demands a stronger grasp of system design, breaking down problems, writing clear specifications, and performing rigorous code review. The cognitive load shifts from worrying about syntax details to thinking about the overall system, the architecture, the strategy.
And this obviously has big implications for the job market, right? You mentioned that LeadDev report finding.
Yes, that 54% of engineering leaders expect that the rise of AI will reduce their long-term hiring of junior developers. That's a stark number.
Why is that?
Because AI is getting really good at many of those entry-level tasks. Writing simple functions, tests, boilerplate, the very things that junior developers traditionally cut their teeth on.
Which creates a potential bottleneck.
Exactly, potential talent chasm. If the traditional pathway for learning and growing into a senior architect is being automated away, how do we cultivate that next generation? How do people gain the deep understanding needed for those higher level roles? It forces organizations to seriously rethink training and mentorship.
Okay, so given all this, the power, the pitfalls, the changing roles, how can developers and teams actually make the most of these tools? What are the best practices?
Well, at its core, successfully adopting these AI tools is really a change management challenge. It needs deliberate strategy, not just throwing the tools out there and hoping for the best.
So for an individual developer, what's key?
Mastering prompt engineering in context is huge. You can't just ask vague questions. You need detailed instructions. Clearly state your intent, define the goals, the constraints. Using those dedicated files, clodea.md or .cursor rules to provide standing project context is crucial. Treat prompting like writing specs.
Don't just wing it.
Right, and adopt a plan, execute, review cycle. Don't expect the AI to solve everything in one go.
Break it down.
Exactly. Ask the AI to generate a plan first. Discuss it, refine it, then ask it to execute parts of the plan. Review each step. It's iterative.
That sounds much more robust. What else?
Embracing test-driven development, or TDD, works really well with AI. Write your test-first comprehensive unit or integration tests. Then tell the AI, okay, write the code that makes these specific tests pass.
So the tests become the objective measure of success.
Precisely. It gives you automated validation that the AI actually did what you asked. And for cursor users specifically, get to know your models.
Understand their different strengths.
Yeah. Which model is best for creative stuff? Which is better for pure logic? Which is just fast and cheap for boilerplate? Learn their personalities, so to speak, and switch between them dynamically for the task at hand.
Okay, that makes sense for individuals. What about for teams working together?
For teams, the first step is establishing clear AI integration guidelines. Document everything. When to use AI, where, how, what are the standards for reviewing AI code, who's accountable, get everyone aligned.
Avoid chaos.
Pretty much. And then centralize and share your configurations. Create a shared repository version, controlled, of course, for custom prompts, those context files, maybe predefined agentic workflows that match your company's standards.
Like AI configuration as code.
Exactly. Treat it like part of your infrastructure.
Yeah.
Ensure consistency, reusability. Another powerful technique is integrating AI into the code review process itself.
How would that work?
You could use tools, maybe like those Gemini CLI GitHub actions. For the initial pass, let the AI triage incoming issues, add labels, maybe offer some basic feedback on pull requests.
Freeing up human reviewers.
Right. Let the humans focus on the really critical stuff. Architectural soundness, security vulnerabilities, alignment with business goals, the things AI can't easily assess.
And the most important principle.
Maintain human oversight on all critical decisions. Always. The AI is an assistant, a powerful one, but the human developers must be the final arbiters of architecture, security, design choices. All significant AI contributions need human scrutiny and sign-off. The human remains the driver.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really dug into the differences between Claude Code, that powerful autonomous agent, often in the terminal, built for beep delegation, and Cursor AI, the slick, integrated co-pilot in your IDE, designed for seamless, interactive collaboration.
Two distinct philosophies, both evolving incredibly fast and really shaking up how software gets built.
And it's clear these tools are doing more than just spitting out code. They're fundamentally redefining software engineering, aren't they? Shifting what developers spend their brain power on.
Absolutely. Elevating the role towards architecture, review, strategy.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating and honestly probably challenging new era for developers.
Which leaves us with a final, maybe slightly uncomfortable thought for you to chew on. If AI is getting really good at those entry-level coding tasks, and we're hearing top engineering leaders say they'll hire fewer juniors because of it, what does that mean for the next generation? How will people develop those crucial skills? The deep architectural thinking, the critical evaluation, the system-level understanding, if the traditional stepping stones, those junior roles where you learn by doing basic tasks, are potentially disappearing.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. It poses a huge challenge for education, for mentorship, for how companies onboard and grow talent. Finding ways to cultivate those essential skills in this new AI augmented world, that's going to require some serious innovation from everyone in the industry.